Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive.
Mm.
This time we're exploring something really fascinating,
Yeah.
the secret language of trees.
Mm.
And
Right.
in particular, we're looking at chapter 5
Yeah.
in our source material,
Uh,
which takes us deep into their world of communication and behavior.
what's so interesting is we often overlook plants' ability to communicate, but they've evolved really intricate systems over millions of years,
Yeah.
particularly trees.
Yeah.
They're not just these passive bystanders, that
Right.
actively engaged in these conversations, exchanging information, and even learning from their experiences.
It's like stepping into this hidden world, like this network
Yeah.
of interactions we can't see or hear.
Right.
And we're going to start with something that really stood out to me, was this idea that trees actually talk to each other
Yeah.
using chemicals.
Yeah, chemical signaling is like this fundamental aspect of plant communication. Imagine this bustling city beneath our feet. This network of roots and fungal threads that are connecting trees across these vast distances. And this network is often called the wood wide web.
Right.
And it allows trees to exchange not just nutrients and water,
Right.
but also critical information about their environment.
So what kind of information are we talking here? Is it like, hey, watch out, there's a hungry deer over there?
It can be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so when a tree is under attack by pests, for example,
Okay.
it can release these volatile organic compounds into the air, and these chemicals act as alarm signals,
Oh.
alerting nearby trees to the danger.
So they can all get ready.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is that these neighboring trees can then ramp up their defenses.
Oh, wow.
They can produce chemicals that make them less palatable to the attackers.
So it's not just like every tree for itself. They're actually looking out for each other.
It's like a forest community
Wow.
working together.
So what role do these mycorrhizal fungi play in this whole system?
Well, these fungi, they're kind of like the unsung heroes of the forest. Okay.
They form these symbiotic relationships with tree roots,
Right.
creating this vast network of interconnected threads that extend throughout the soil.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's like a super highway of information flowing beneath the forest floor.
So a tree in one part of the forest can actually send a message to another tree far away
That's right.
through this network.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Pretty amazing.
incredible. Can you give us an example of what that might look like in the real world?
Absolutely.
Right.
Let's say a group of trees is experiencing a drought
Okay.
through this mycorrhizal network. They can actually communicate their distress to trees in a nearby area that might have access to more water.
Wow.
And those trees can then respond by sharing water or nutrients through the network,
Oh, wow.
helping their struggling neighbors survive.
They're helping each other.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
it is.
So it completely changes the way we think about trees.
Right.
They're not just individuals competing for resources.
They're part of this interconnected community that supports each other.
Exactly.
But I've also read about how trees communicate using electrical signals.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's another fascinating aspect
Huh.
of plant communication.
How?
While it's not quite the same as our nervous system in animals,
Okay.
plants can generate and transmit electrical signals through specialized cells.
How fast are we talking here? Is this like...
Oh, it's slower than in animals,
Okay.
but it's still fast enough for plants to respond to environmental changes in real time.
Okay.
So, for example, if you touch a sensitive plant,
Uh-huh.
the leaves fold up almost instantly.
Right.
That's driven by electrical signals that travel rapidly through the plant's tissues.
Oh, so that's what's happening. It's like
Yeah.
it's got its own little alarm system.
Right.
But what about other types of responses?
Oh,
I mean, we think of plants as kind of stationary,
yeah.
but they must be able to react to all sorts of changes in their environment,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely. Plants have evolved this remarkable array of strategies for responding to environmental stimuli.
Okay.
One of the most well-known is phototropism,
Okay.
which is a plant's ability to grow towards a light source.
Right, like my houseplant bending towards the window.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've witnessed phototropism in action.
But how do they know which way to grow?
It all comes down to hormones,
Okay.
specifically a hormone called auxin.
Okay.
When light shines on a plant stem,
Uh-huh.
auxin accumulates on the shaded side,
Interesting.
causing the cells on that side to elongate.
Oh, so that's...
This differential growth makes the stem bend towards the light.
Okay, so it's like it's pushing itself over there.
Right.
Wow, it's amazing how just the direction of sunlight can trigger such a complex response.
It is.
Are there other examples of these types of growth responses?
Definitely. Think about how roots always grow downwards,
Yeah.
even in the dark.
Right.
That's gravitropism.
Okay.
It's a response to gravity that ensures that roots penetrate the soil and anchor the plant firmly.
It's like their sense of balance.
Right.
But for plants,
Exactly.
what about touch?
Mm.
Can they sense when they're being touched?
They can.
Really?
One example is thigmotropism,
Okay.
where a plant grows in response to contact with a solid object.
So like vines climbing up a wall.
Exactly. They're literally feeling their way up.
It's like they're exploring their surroundings,
Yeah.
even though they can't move around like we do.
And then there are nastic movements,
Right.
which are these rapid reversible movements that are independent of the direction of the stimulus.
Okay.
The classic example is the Venus flytrap snapping shut when an insect touches its sensitive hairs.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Pretty dramatic.
Yeah. Why do plants need these rapid movements? What's the advantage?
It often comes down to survival.
Okay.
In the case of the Venus flytrap, it's a way to capture prey in nutrient-poor environments.
Right.
For other plants, nastic movements might help them conserve water, protect themselves from frost damage,
Oh.
or even disperse their seeds.
So many different uses.
Yeah, it's amazing how these seemingly simple organisms have developed this wide range of strategies for thriving in their environments.
It really is. And you know what's even more fascinating is this idea of plant memory and learning,
Right.
which really challenges our traditional view of intelligence
Yeah,
in the natural world.
definitely.
Let's dive into that a little bit more.
Okay. So this idea that plants can actually remember things.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like science fiction to me.
It might seem that way, but it's actually a growing field of research,
Okay.
with some incredible findings.
Really?
Take, for instance, the concept of vernalization.
Vernalization.
It's the process where certain plants need a prolonged period of cold temperatures before they can flower.
So like those tulip bulbs that need a cold winter?
Precisely.
Okay.
The plant isn't just reacting to the warmer spring temperatures.
Right.
It's actually remembering that it experienced a cold period, signaling that it's safe to flower.
So it's not just about immediate responses. They're drawing on past experiences
Right.
to make these decisions that affect their whole life cycle.
It's crucial for the plant's reproductive success,
Yeah.
ensuring that it blooms when pollinators are active.
But is vernalization the only example of plant memory?
Well,
Can they remember other things like...
there's evidence that plants can retain memories of all sorts of environmental challenges. For example, studies have shown that plants that have endured drought stress can develop a drought memory,
a drought memory?
making them more resilient to future water shortages.
So a plant that's experienced drought would be better equipped to handle another one.
You're exact.
How does that work?
Well, these plants can modify their physiology and their growth patterns. They
It's-
might develop deeper root systems to access water deeper in the soil,
Okay.
or reduce their leaf area to minimize water loss.
So it's like they've learned from their hardship and
Yeah.
adjusted their strategies.
It's like they've built up a tolerance. Yeah.
Much like our immune systems do
Right.
when exposed to a virus.
Can these memories be passed on to their offspring?
That's a great question.
I mean, it sounds kind of crazy.
It does sound incredible, but there's emerging research suggesting that some plants might be able to transfer this drought memory to their seeds.
Wow.
It's thought that the parent plant could alter the expression of certain genes in its seeds,
Okay.
priming them for a world where water might be scarce.
So it's like giving their offspring a survival guide
Right.
based on their own experience.
Exactly.
Wow, does this memory transfer happen with other threats too?
Wow.
Like pest attacks?
There's evidence to support that as well.
Really?
If a plant is attacked by a particular insect,
Uh-huh.
it can activate defense mechanisms,
Okay.
making it less tasty or even toxic to that specific pest.
So the plant learns to recognize its enemies
Right.
and mounts a targeted defense.
Exactly.
How specific is this memory, though?
That's a good question. So could a plant that's fended off one type of insect be protected from a different kind of attack?
Well, it seems that plant memory can be remarkably specific. A plant that has battled one type of insect might not be as well equipped to defend against a different species.
So it's like their defense system is fine-tuned to that particular threat.
Exactly.
It's like they're in a constant arms race,
It is an evolutionary arms race.
with these insects developing and refining their defenses.
Yeah,
It all seems incredibly complex.
it is. And the amazing part is that all of this is happening without a centralized nervous system,
Right.
as we typically think of it.
Yeah.
It really challenges our understanding of intelligence in the natural world.
I'm starting to see plants in a whole new light.
Me too.
But how does this actually work? What's going on inside the plant at a cellular level to make memory possible?
Well, that's where we delve into this fascinating world of epigenetics.
Epigenetics.
It's a field that explores changes in gene expression that don't involve alterations to the underlying DNA sequence itself.
Okay, I've heard of epigenetics.
Yeah.
Could you explain it in simpler terms?
Sure, think of it this way.
Okay.
Your DNA is like a blueprint for building a house.
Okay.
Epigenetics is like the contractor who decides which rooms to build, which to leave unfinished, and how to decorate them.
Okay.
The blueprint stays the same, but the final product can vary greatly depending on the contractor's choices.
So the plant's experiences are essentially influencing how its genes are expressed,
That's right.
leading to changes in its behavior and physiology.
Exactly.
It's like the environment is shaping the plant from within.
Precisely, environmental factors like drought or pest attacks can trigger these epigenetic modifications.
Hmm.
And the fascinating part is that these changes can be long-lasting,
Wow.
potentially influencing the plant's offspring as well.
So it's not just the individual plant that's remembering. It's
Yeah.
like the whole lineage
Yeah.
is carrying this memory
Yeah.
of past environmental challenges.
Exactly. It transforms our understanding of adaptation and evolution.
It really does.
It suggests that plants aren't just passive recipients of natural selection.
Right.
They're actively responding to their environment, learning from their experiences, and passing on those adaptations to future generations.
So if plants, which lack a traditional brain, can exhibit such sophisticated memory and learning,
Right.
what does that tell us about intelligence in the natural world?
It's a humbling thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
It suggests that our traditional definitions of intelligence might be too narrow,
Right.
and that there are many different ways of being intelligent in this world.
So many different ways.
Plants are clearly capable of processing information,
Yeah.
making decisions, and adapting to their environment in these remarkably complex ways.
I feel like we're just starting to unlock the secrets of their world.
I agree.
We've gone from chemical signaling to electrical communication,
Right.
from plant responses to environmental stimuli to this incredible concept of memory and learning.
And there's still so much more to explore. Our understanding of plant behavior is constantly evolving as scientists uncover these new layers of complexity
It really
in their interactions with the world.
I'm ready for part 3. Let's take a break and we'll come back.
Sounds good.
So we're back and ready to continue our deep dive into the amazing world of plant intelligence. We've covered so much ground already, learning how trees communicate, sense their surroundings, and even remember things.
It's amazing, isn't it? It really changes how we think about these organisms.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what else is out there to discover. What other secrets are they hiding?
That's the big question, isn't it? One thing's for sure, we're just scratching the surface when it comes to plant memory
Right.
and how it shapes our view of intelligence in the natural world. If plants can store and retrieve information and adapt to new environments and even pass on knowledge to the next generation,
Yeah.
it makes you rethink what intelligence really means.
It really does. Like maybe our human-centered view is stopping us from fully grasping the incredible diversity of life out there.
Exactly. Plants have spent millions of years developing these complex survival strategies,
Right.
ones that we often miss. They can sense tiny changes in their environment,
Yeah.
and they talk to each other, and they work together, and they learn from what they've been through.
It's incredible.
It really shows how sophisticated and adaptable they are.
This whole deep dive has really changed my perspective.
Yeah.
I used to walk through a forest and just see trees,
Mm-hmm.
but now I see this intricate web of connections,
Right.
a community of intelligent beings always communicating and adapting.
It is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's what science does, though, right? It lets us look at familiar things in a whole new way.
Yeah.
It helps us uncover the hidden wonders around us.
It's like we've been given this glimpse into a secret world
Yeah.
where plants are active players shaping their environment and affecting every living thing, including us.
And the more we learn about plant intelligence,
Yeah.
the more we realize how much we don't know.
It's true. There are still so many mysteries to uncover.
Absolutely. Tons of questions still unanswered.
Yeah. But one thing's a lot for certain plants can teach us a lot about resilience and adaptation and the incredible beauty of life.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, this has been a truly inspiring journey for me. Learning about the intelligence of plants fills me with this sense of awe and wonder. It reminds us to never underestimate nature's ability to surprise and amaze us. So thank you all for joining us on this exploration. And the next time you see a plant, take a moment to appreciate its quiet intelligence. It's filled with knowledge and wisdom that we're just beginning to grasp.